Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the third WarOfBricks Tournament. This tournament will be different from our first and second ones. For this tournament, there will be 16 robots. Each of them will get 3 entry fights to determine their seeding in the actual tournament bracket. Before I show you our fight card for tonight, I need to make an important announcement. So instead of having 16 robots, each of them getting 3 entry fights, and only the top 8 performing robots will move on to the actual tournament, we will have all 16 of the robots moving on to the actual tournament for more fights and more destruction for you guys. Okay, now I will show you our fight card for tonight. Alright, for our first fight, we will have the offset horizontal spinner Coin taking on the vertical bar spinner Scuffed. For our second fight, we will have the vertical cinder block spinner America taking on the overhead horizontal spinner Lawnmower in what is sure to be an explosive match. For our third fight, we will have the egg beater spinner Riptide taking on the vertical bar spinner Endgame. For the fourth fight, we will have the multi-wedge bots Bump and Nudge taking on the overhead horizontal spinner Hurricane. For the fifth fight, we will have the overhead horizontal spinner Midnight taking on the vertical bar spinner Nibble Power. And for the main event, we will have the overhead horizontal spinner Bruin taking on the egg beater spinner Poke and Jab. Alright, now let's talk about our first fight for this episode. In the last episode, Scuffed fought Midnight and lost after 3 big hits. Its battery box was exposed and it tapped out for safety reasons. Coin, on the other hand, is doing much better. It fought Poke and Jab last episode and won after dishing out a lot of huge hits and removing 2 wheels. Okay, now I'll take you on to our first fight.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, fight!
And the fight is on. Huge hit from Coin. Coin rips off a wheel from Scuffed and has huge recoil. Coin removes the other wheel on Scuffed. Good shot from Coin on the back of Scuffed. Scuffed returns with a good shot of his on Coin's back. That hit from Coin looks like it just split the weapon uprights on Scuffed. Big hit from Coin. And it looks like we have a bit of a pushing match here.
My wheel was stuck into the robot.
Only because I want it to be.
Coin escapes. Gets back up to speed. Huge hit from Coin, but it looks like the weapon uprights on Scuffed are reconnected. A bit of the front armor on Scuffed comes apart. Scuffed almost pins Coin to the wall there, but Coin escapes again. Another big hit from Coin.
15 seconds left. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop fighting.
And the winner by unanimous judges' decision is Coin. On one of the hits from Coin, it split the weapon uprights on Scuffed, disconnecting Scuffed's weapon from its weapon motor, and on the next hit, it reconnects the weapon uprights, reconnecting Scuffed's weapon to its weapon motor. Overall, that was a great fight and another dominant performance by Coin. Okay, now let's talk about our second fight. In the last episode, Lawnmower fought Shopping Cart and lost after it got flipped over. In the last episode, America fought Endgame in the main event and knocked out Endgame after delivering a huge shot flipping it over. Okay, now it's time for our second fight.
3, 2, 1, go.
And the fight is on. Both robots are up to speed.
Full spin.
Huge weapon-to-weapon hit. Lawnmower almost gets flipped over. Bracings flying off America's weapon. America gets flipped. That was a huge shot. Lawnmower is missing a wheel, but it's still moving outside of its turning circle. Can America self-right? It looks like it cannot. It's being counted out.
7, 6,
This is a huge upset.
3, 2, 1. Knockout.
Wow, that fight was explosive. I don't think anyone was expecting Lawnmower to KO America. Alright, now let's talk about our third fight. For our third fight, we have Endgame, which fought in last episode's main event and got knocked out by America after a huge shot. And we have Riptide, our previous two-time champion from the first and second War of Bricks tournaments. Alright, it's time for our third fight.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, fight.
Alright, the fight is on. Riptide rushes Endgame. Riptide rips off some of the armor paneling on Endgame. Almost flips Endgame there. Endgame is pinned to the wall by Riptide. Riptide is ripping off more pieces from Endgame. Endgame is getting bullied right now.
Oh yes, that very exposed BattleBots.
Endgame getting pushed into another corner. It gets flipped, but it is able to self-right using its new self-righting mechanism. Endgame pinned again. Endgame finally does some damage to Riptide, disabling one of its forks.
I have effectively lost one duel. 30 seconds.
Endgame is still getting bullied by Riptide. Pinned to the wall and flipped over again. Self-rights a second time. Endgame is getting some good shots on the side of Riptide, but Riptide escapes, and Riptide returns the favor.
Alright, 2, 1, fight over.
That was another dominant performance from our reigning champ, Riptide. The fourth fight was so boring that I decided to cut it out of this episode and post it in a separate video, because this episode would be way too long if I left it in. Alright, for the fifth fight, we've already talked about Midnight beating Scuffed in 3 shots, and we have Midnight taking on Nibble Power, which is a new rookie to War of Bricks. Alright, now on to the fifth fight.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, fight.
Alright, both weapons up to speed. Huge collision. Looks like we got our camera angles wrong, so the portrait mode can't see that far. Sorry about that. Midnight gets a good shot at the back of Nibble Power's wedge, but Midnight gets pinned to the wall by Nibble Power.
You gotta release the pin.
Big hit from Nibble Power. Looks like the gyro ring on Midnight is starting to fall off. Midnight's weapon is overcurrented. Nibble Power throws off Midnight's spinner off camera. Sorry about that. Nibble Power rips parts off of Midnight's gyro ring. More parts fall off of Midnight. The gyro ring is off of Midnight.
15 seconds left.
Yeah, it's fine.
And it gets launched. Wow, that's a big hit from Nibble Power. And the winner by unanimous judges' decision is Nibble Power. Nibble Power did a lot of damage to Midnight, ripping off its gyro ring and launching off its spinner. But this time, we somehow messed up our camera angles with our phone, and it couldn't see that far, so sorry about that. Okay, it's time for our main event. Bruin versus Poke and Jab.
3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, Poke and Jab going for the box rush. Poke and Jab gets a good hit. Oh, Bruin is flipped over.
10,
And a chain is off of Bruin.
8,
Can Bruin self-right? Can he turn over?
6, 5, 4,
His wheels aren't touching the ground, and he can't
2,
twist either.
1, knockout.
Wow.
30-second fight.
Alright, so for those of you that know Bruin, you guys might think that match was rigged, but it's not, and I'll explain to you why. So bootleg Bruin and the original Bruin use very similar electronics. They both use a Buiz motor for their weapon, and Bootleg Bruin uses a Buiz 2.0 instead of a 3.0, but it runs on the 11.2 volts just like the Buiz 3.0. Bootleg Bruin uses Lego Power Function large motor knockoffs as its drive motors, which have really similar performances to the powered up large motors that original Bruin uses. So the reason why Bootleg Bruin didn't perform that well in that fight is because of driver skill issue, not a design issue or a electronic issue. So Technic Engineer and I are complete garbage at driving any robots that use the Buiz app. This is because our phones like to do this thing where they sometimes go, oh yeah, I just don't want to work for like 10 seconds, and that's not optimal when you're in combat. So Bruin travels at extremely high speeds, and for inexperienced drivers, it's really hard to control really fast robots, and it makes the robot look really bad. But experienced drivers can take advantage of that speed and make the robot look really good and work really well. But yeah, I'm sorry if that main event was disappointing for you guys. Technic Engineer and I will get more driving practice with Bruin, and we will hopefully improve in the future to put on better fights than that. Alright, that's all for episode 2. Episode 3 has already been filmed, but I just need to edit all the fights into a video. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and if you would like to see the next few episodes of this tournament, you can just keep an eye out on my channel as I will be posting them within a week or two. So if you guys have any suggestions or opinions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.